Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Dear students, I would like to discuss some of the key factors for the course of the change management. The book is The Leading Change and John P. Kotler. John P. Kotler is one of the very renowned author for the course related with the change management. I would like to discuss a topic from the book, Transforming Organizations and Why Firms Fail. Earlier, before we discussed the basics of the change management and so many other aspects related with the change management, now I would like to discuss the another important aspects, the transforming organizations and why firms fail. As per the previous and as for the a lot of research done on the topic of the change management, there is a clear understanding and there is a clear identification explained in the literature that 70% of the firms failed, they don't achieve the reforms successfully. There are so many reasons behind the factor. There are so many reasons, element related with the failure and related with the unsuccessful element. But the some of the element here, the authors John B. Cotter highlight in the book. This is a pure book, and pure book means that the I am sharing and I am discussing is from the author's point of view and discussing the author's perspective. It's not my slides, it's not my writing, it's from the books of the John P. Cotter. uh, some people predict that most of the re-engineering, re-strategizing, mergers, downsizing, quality efforts, and cultural renewal projects will soon disappear. It might be the powerful microeconomic forces are at work here, and these forces may grow even stronger over the next decades. As a result, more and more organizations will be pushed to reduce cost, improve the quality and services. These are some of the factors as I already explained to you people. Moving further is the number one error when you're talking about the failure of the firms. So allowing too much compliancy. What does the mean of the compliancy and what is the linked of the complacent or compliancy with the change management? By far, the biggest mistake people make when trying to change organization is to plunge ahead without establishing a high enough sense of urgency in fellow managers and employees. This error is fatal because transformations always fail to achieve their objectives when compliancy levels are high. Compliancy is the kind of a mindset, you can say that, or a complacent perspective, or the complacent mindset is like that you are not prepared. You're not prepared for the change. You not realize the importance of the change. You're not establishing enough high sense of urgency in the organization. So these are all the words, these are all the aspects related with the compliancy. When Adrian, the head of the specialty chemicals division of a large corporation, he saw lurking on the horizon and many problems and opportunities, most of which were the product of the globalization of his industry. As a seasoned and self-confident executive, he worked day and night to launch a dozen new initiatives to build business and margins in an increasingly competitive marketplace. He realized that few others in his organization saw the dangers and possibilities as clearly he did. But he felt this was not an insurmountable insurmountable problem. They could be induced, pushed, or replaced. 2 years after his promotion, Adrian watched initiatives after initiative sinks in a sea of compliancy, regardless of his inducements and threats. The first phase of his new product strategy required so much time to implement that competitors' counter moves offset any important benefit. Reorganization was talked to death by skills filibusters. on his staff and so many other things related with the facts, and you can read it and other aspects with the with related with the factor of the compliancy. I would like to explain the actual meaning, the actual word related with the compliancy is basically the concept of a self-satisfied or when accompanied by the unawareness of actual dangers or deficiency. Compliancy is extremely dangerous in the workplace. You can say that companies and employees work hard to create a safe workplace and, and eliminate unsafe acts. So these are all the related things which is related with the workplace compliancy. And when if you can see it here in below in the if the compliancy were low in most organizations today, this problem would have um, limited important, and the other things related with the effectiveness and relate with the um, it's like this implies are aren't thinking about that what could go wrong every day all day while they work. They are not completing the task safely, sorry. Workers need to be trained to think ahead as they approach each task and consider these are some things that you can overcome the complacency in the organizations. What they are working with, what they will be doing, where they will be doing, what could go wrong. Encourage employees to examine equipment, procedures, and hazards that may exist. They need to focus physically and mentally on their work, no matter how many times they have done the same job in the past. So these are all the things related with the complacency and the complacent mindset that can affect the organization. Error number two related with the firm's failure in transforming, when you're talking about transforming organizations, failing to create a sufficiently powerful guiding coalitions. Major change is often said to be impossible unless the head of the organization is an active supporter. Um, what I'm talking about here goes for beyond that. In successful transformations, the president, divisions, general manager, and department head plus another 5, 15, or 50 people with a commitment to improved uh, mm, performance pulled together as a team. This is about that you can work as a team. You cannot if you fail to create a sufficiently powerful guideline for a coalition, so you ultimately failed to achieve your transforming organizations the goal. The efforts that lack a sufficiently power guiding coalitions can make apparent progress for a while. The organizational structure might be changed, re-engineering efforts might be launched. So these all things that related, you can further read it. So the thing is, basic thing is that when you're talking about the this is related when you are not usually associated with underestimating the difficulties in producing change, and thus the importance of strong guiding coalitions. Even when complacency is relatively low, firms with little history of transformation or teamwork are often undervalue the need for such a team, or assume that it can be led by a staff executive from human resources, quality, or strategic planning instead of a key line manager. You can say that. The third thing is the underestimating the power of vision. This is very important. This is very important. Let me clear you, students, that this point is one of the key factor, or you can say that one of the key factor for the success, and one of the factor, mm, one of the major factor for the failure of the firm's transformation. You must say that underestimating the power of vision. As we all know that as a business students, as a business graduates, we must know that the importance of the vision. The firm and organization vision is very important. Is very, very, very important. After worked with so many different organizations, I worked as assistant branch manager, as I worked with the Bank of Khyber as some of the positions worked there. And afterwards, I joined the academia and I worked in the academia more than 11 years now. I learned one thing, and that is very important for the organization, is that the organization's leaders or managers must clear about their vision, what they want to achieve in the next 20 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years. This is very important. This is, I think, the foremost important thing for the betterment, for the success of organization. I must say that. Most of the people is take these things for granted, and because of this for grantedness attitude, organization failed. Organizations miserably failed because of not cleared vision for the next years, for the next 2 years, for the next 6 months, even I can say that I can say that for the next 1 month, even if you're not cleared, if you're not set goals, if you not set your proper visions, and if you're not prepared, so you cannot be proactive in the activities. You will be, your organizations will be always reactive if you are not prepared with proper vision. This is the key factor for the change management, the one of the factor for the failure of the organization. You can read it so you can better understand. If you have any questions, please ask. A vision plays a key role as he's in producing useful change by helping and direct, align, and inspire actions on the part large numbers of people. Without an appropriate vision or transformation, efforts can easily dissolve into a list of confusing, incompatible, and time-consuming projects that go in the wrong direction. So these are all the points. Without a vision, without signed a vision, the re-engineering projects in the accounting department, the new 360-degree performance appraisals from human resource required. So you can read it and you can find out the importance of the vision, as well as I already explained you so many times the importance of the vision for the organization. Error number 4 is under communicating the vision by a factor of 10, 100, or even uh, 1000. I must say that. So the another important point here I can highlight, the author already highlighted, is the under communicating the vision by a factor of 10, 100, or even 1000. This is another important point, that when you're not communicating the proper importance or the significance of the change management towards your employee, and you cannot properly communicate the importance of the change management, we can say that you cannot highlight it, the transformation of the organizations, and you cannot point out the important element for the significance, uh, whatever you can say that is related with the related with the transformation. So this makes no sense. This makes no sense, and ultimately employees cannot take the thing seriously. The same thing is that when you're talking about the importance of the, you can say that whatever the any lifetime, the when we see, when I met, as you know that, as I my area of expertise are, other than the HR, is the healthcare as well. I work with the HR, healthcare workers, and as an observer, and I work as the team member as for the research purposes only. Uh, as you people know that I am not the practitioner, medical practitioners. I am a researcher. So I worked and I observed a lot of things in the hospital sector, in the healthcare sector of the KP. So, as you people know that the health sector, the KP health sector designed a lot of work, reforms since 2010 and 2020, and as well as they have also a vision of 2025, till 2025, they have a proper vision. But uh, as long as the communication is concerned, the importance of the transformation is concerned, which is lacking somewhere. in terms of the to communicate to the employees, and in terms of that when you disseminate the informations to the employees. So employees are not taking things seriously. Employees is not taking the importance of the reforms. Employees are not understanding the importance of the you can say that the change management, and so many things related with, so which can affect the transformation process. This is very important thing, I must say that. If you have any question related with these points, please ask. So I would like to arrange a Zoom class for you, and then as well as we can discuss. You can ask from me on the LMS queries. You can discuss. You people have my WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp me anytime, so we can discuss it. As you both so many times you can text me, so I can reply you, so we can discuss it furtherly. But listen, these are very much important thing. These are very much key factors as far as the change management course is concerned. Other is error number 5 is permitting obstacles to block the new vision. The thing is that when we are allowing the obstacles to block the new vision is also the failure. When you're not implementing the things properly, in this factor, in this element, is one of the key element is related with the culture. I must say that the obstacles mostly came from the culture of the organization, the structure of the organization. These are the barriers to stop the change. These are the barriers for the new vision as well. Why government is not successfully achieve transformation, why government is not achieving the transformation, is the one of the reason is that a lot of hurdles and the blockers that create issues for the government and for the organizations to overcome the to manage the change management process. Then you can read it, and if you have any question you can discuss with me. Failing to create a short-term wins, we mostly, the organization mostly focused on a long-term planning, and they have a long-term objectives, and they ignore the short-term wins. They ignore the short-term goals, so which can ultimately affect the organization. By this we mean that if organization can compete the I already quoted in my so many lectures this word, that if you want to compete the Elon Musk company, SpaceX. So if you think that this is a $1 trillion company, SpaceX is $1 trillion company, more than the your country budget. So you think that we cannot compete with them, and we cannot work we can how can we compete them, and how can we work like the company as the SpaceX worked, the Apple worked, and so many other companies, IBM, and so many other competitive companies in the world, all across the world. So the thing is that we can highlight, if the company can highlight their weaknesses, if the company can focus on the weaknesses of the best companies, so and worked there and worked on these weaknesses, so the companies can achieve short-term wins. There are so many short companies who worked with IBM for their project of the clouding, for their iClouding works projects. There are so many short companies worked with the IBM. Do you know that your Pakistani companies are also working with the IBM iCloud firms, and they have the projects, they have a lot of things. Even in Apple iPhone, a lot of apps designing and a lot of apps worked in Pakistan. A lot of people from local people worked with the Apple iPhone, as far as their graphic designing is concerned, as far as app designing is concerned, as so many other things that they are working. So if they think that we cannot compete it with the Apple, or if they think that we cannot work for the Apple, so the things cannot never be happen. So the important thing is that, so these are the important points that we the firms can work on the short term goals and short term wins, and achieve the other aspects. Then moving further, Declaring victory too soon. After a few years of hard work, people can tempted to declare victory in a major effort with the first major performance improvement. While celebrating win is fine, any suggestions that job is mostly done is terrible miss. So declaring a win earlier can create issues for the firms, can create problems for the firms. Uh, we can work more on the change perspectives, and if we see that the improvement is, then afterwards we can declare. Neglecting to anchor changes firmly in the corporate culture. This is also very important thing, that if we cannot anchor change with the corporate culture, that might be the one of the problem. uh, we cannot fully copied the foreign culture here in Pakistan. We cannot fully adopted the foreign culture in Pakistan, which will be the failure. So we can work with the culture, we can adjust ourselves with the culture, and we understand the importance of the cultural aspects. So these are the 8 mistakes firms mostly did, and because of these 8 mistakes, mm, the organizations failed for their successful transformations. So thank you very much for listening me.